Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In this video, I'm going to go over my thoughts on the stock market heading into tomorrow, Tuesday, September 6th. But before I get into that, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. It really helps out the channel. Let's get straight into it. All right, so the thumbnail. It is not clickbait. Okay, it is not clickbait. I know a lot of people are probably going to come in here like, man, this guy is clickbaiting. There's no way he's bullish. But I actually am. Okay, I do believe we're going to see some upside. At worst, we see some chop. Okay, now I don't expect it to happen right away. I do obviously expect it to see a little bit more downside before we see that upside. But at least for the first couple of weeks of September, I do think we are going to see upside. I could be wrong. Okay, don't get me wrong. I am completely aware that September is historically the worst month of the stock market, but it doesn't mean it's 100%. Okay, it just means it happens more often than it does not. All right, we do have a lot of events this month. We have FOMC meetings, we have speakers speaking this week, Fed speakers. We have all types of craziness going on in the month of September, so it's going to be a very volatile month. If we're looking at the SPY on the weekly chart, as you guys can see, we are heading towards this trend line. Okay, we're heading there, and we may or may not bounce off there. And the levels you want to look out for are 390, 388, 385, 380. If we break below, okay, if we break below 380, we can see 370. I do have a price target of 370, but if we break below 370, that is the time that you should start panicking. Okay, if we break below this range here and we start seeing some downside, you might want to worry there. Okay, 360 is also an important level, but I think once we break 370, I think 360 is going to get blown out the park. Okay, reason being is that everyone is expecting 360, and I just think that's too obvious of a move. And if you know me, if you traded with me, you know that I do not like obvious moves. Okay, so going back, all right, so if we go to our daily chart, all right, so here's where it gets interesting. Okay, on a weekly chart, we have an inverse head and shoulders, but on a daily chart, we have a potential head and shoulders forming. All right, so let's zoom out real quick and get a good look at that. All right, now let's zoom right back in. Okay, so this scenario can play out in various, in completely different ways. All right, it really can. All right, so our one move could be this. This is our ideal move, right? If you're bearish, this is the move you will like to see. Okay, I like how I just jumped straight up. If you're bearish, this is the move you like to see. Nah, this obviously is not this move you want to see, but we could bounce here. Okay, we could bounce here, and then we start to head down. Okay, potentially forming that head and shoulders pattern. All right, where you have, oops, wrong. Where you have shoulder here, and then we break the neckline down in this range. Okay, we start to break our neckline right about here. Okay, and as you can see, we are holding this level up. Okay, so if we break below 388, okay, if we break below 388, we could see a move to 385, 380. Okay, now keep in mind, this is our weekly trend, and what I mean by that is that this is a very strong trend. Okay, it is very strong. All right, so if we break below that, if we break below 380, you might want to start panicking if you're bullish, and if we start heading towards 360, it's going to get scary. All right, it's going to get very scary. All right, so this is the potential move that I am looking for here, and then we head back down. I don't see a reason for us to go much higher than at least 420. Okay, I'm not saying that's going to happen this week. I'm just saying if we do get some bullish momentum, that is the level I'm going to be looking for. All right, 420 is the level I'm going to be looking for. Now, what can we look forward to this week? 392 and 397 on the SPY are your levels to look out for. Okay, and I think most, okay, at most, maybe heading into tomorrow, we do some consolidation. We consolidate between those two ranges, okay. Again, September is going to be a very volatile month, so we're going to see a lot of big movement, okay. But I do believe that 392, 397 is where market makers are going to have to make a decision on what direction we are going to go, okay. If we break below 392, you watch 390, you watch 388, and then you watch 385. Okay, those are the levels to the downside. All right, if we break above 397, you want to look for 400, 403, 405. Okay, it can be 403, 402, 403, around that range, but you want to definitely be looking out for those ranges to the upside. Okay, now in another video I was talking about areas of volatility. Okay, and right here we have a huge area of volatility, and what that means is that we don't waste time getting to our position. Okay, we don't waste time going down, we don't waste time going up. The same can be said about this range here. All right, let's zoom in. The same can be said about this area here, where we don't hesitate, we just go straight up. Okay, we just go straight up. Yeah, you get a little bounce here and there, but it's not that drastic. You just shoot straight for the stars, and then same thing going down. These are your areas of volatility. All right, so that's what I mean by this month is going to be absolutely insane as far as volatility go. Even down here in this range, okay, even if we look down here where the neckline is broken, even down here, okay, area of volatility where we see big, huge movement. Okay, now if we go to the 4-hour chart, the much smaller time frame, you see the same thing. All right, you see the same exact thing. So if we do go, so what am I getting at? If we do go up, it's going to be swift. Okay, it's going to be swift, and then most likely you're going to see just a complete move up. Okay, you get a little small bounce here, and then you get little cool off periods, bounce back up. You get cool off period, you go straight up. Okay, it's going to happen fast. Okay, that's at least my belief, that it's going to happen fast if we do go up. All right, 420 is what you're going to be looking for. If we hit 420, I don't think we're going to go beyond that, because I don't see a reason for us to go beyond that. That can always change. Okay, ironically, 420 range is where the gap fill is. Okay, 421, 420 range. Okay, so ironically, that's where the gap fill is if we do head up. Not only that, but if we look closely, we have a reversal pattern here. Okay, this could be a potential double bottom. All right, I know I'm getting a little crazy with the drawings, but this could be a potential double bottom where we see a bounce here heading into tomorrow. Okay, again, we could see just some consolidation within this range here, where we just keep bouncing back and forth between 392 and 397. And Wednesday, when I believe one of the Fed members are speaking, FOMC member Meister speaks, or Meister, however you want to pronounce it. And then I believe there's something else. I know there's another Fed member speaking supposedly Wednesday. Fed Vice Chairman Bernard speaks. Okay, so Wednesday is going to be very, very interesting. Okay, Wednesday is going to be very, very interesting. So just a quick recap. I know I was all over the place with all the drawings and everything, but your levels you want to look out for heading into tomorrow. One scenario we can be looking at is just a complete consolidation between 392 and 397. If we break below 392, you want to be looking at 390, 388, 385, and 380. All right, we're not going to look below that until we get there. Okay, I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow, where we just see a complete breakdown, despite what everybody's talking about as far as crashing and Twitter and all that. I just don't think we're there yet. Okay, we haven't gotten news. I don't see us getting that bad of news for us to be completely crashing. Okay, all right, so those are the levels you're going to be looking out for towards the downside. Towards the upside, you want to be looking at a break of 397. If you break above 397, I think it's safe to say that it's okay to be bullish. Okay, but if you want to play it safe, look for 400, 402, 403 range, 405, and then from there we'll get there when we get there. All right, but right now we're pretty far down. I just don't see us making that huge of a move heading into tomorrow, especially when we don't really have anything to make such volatile moves. All right, but Keep in mind, again, these areas of volatility. When we move, we're going to move, guys. We're going to move, okay? So I do think before we potentially see some type of crash or whatever the case may be heading into, well, not heading into, but for the month of September, I do think we're going to retest this upside first and then we break down, okay? I am not ignoring this head and shoulders pattern. We can easily see a lower low here where we just completely do one of these moves and then we just break straight down, okay? That's another move, all right? It doesn't matter for me what direction we go because I'm completely sitting on cash right now. If we go up, that's fine. I'll just play the upside. If we go down, I will play the downside. But heading into tomorrow, I think at minimum we see some type of consolidation. If anything, we see some more upside. Okay, we just see some consolidation between 392, 397. All right, I think I got my point across. All right, Nasdaq. Looking at the Nasdaq. All right, this is another reason that I am kind of bullish heading into this week, okay? Kind of bullish more than bearish right now, okay? I'm not saying we're going to like see some crazy movement, but again, this weekly trend line, keep bouncing off of it. And we've only really bounced off of it about a good 2 times so far, all right? Normally weekly trends hold up very, very strong and you see a lot of bounces off of it. So it's not a weak level, okay? Is really not a weak level, at least in my opinion. I just don't think this is a weak level or a level to take lightly. If we head here, I'm expecting us to bounce off this area, okay? So a scenario we could see is that we see, you know, some slight downside. We break below 12k, everybody's panicking because 12k is a very important level, and then we just go straight back up, and then we potentially do one of these moves or we just break out, okay? Keep in mind, this is a bear flag. All right, I'm not a bear flag, a bull flag. Okay, this is a bull flag, so we can break out. Okay, so this is another reason why I potentially can see us heading to the upside for at least the first few weeks of September, if not the whole week, the whole month of September. Okay, another thing is we have a potential head and shoulders pattern, but it's not strong. Okay, so this isn't something I would completely depend on. It's a very weak head and shoulders pattern. If anything, you can just completely dismiss it. It's really bad. Okay, it's really not that great of a pattern at all. Okay, if at anything, I would just pay attention to our bull flag and then this weekly trend line. Okay, daily chart, same thing. Okay, it looks exactly like the SPY. Okay, you have your potential, let's get rid of this here so it's not confusing. You have your potential head and shoulders forming here. You got your shoulder here, and then you have a potential shoulder forming here. Okay, and then we could break our neckline around here. Okay, so if we break below 12k, I wouldn't necessarily panic because our weekly trend is right below it. But once we break that weekly trend, that's when you may want to panic. Okay, that's when you may want to go just full on bearish. Okay, full bearish. Okay, I wouldn't even overthink it. Okay, so your levels to look out for on the Nasdaq: 12k, 11,800. If we break below 11,800, 11,500 is your next target. If we break below 11,500, it can be bad. All right, so another thing we can do if we want some type of exact target, because a lot of people don't know how to do this or how analysts get their price targets, so I'm going to show you guys how. All you're doing is you're measuring the shoulder or the potential shoulder. We'll just say the shoulder's here. You're measuring the shoulder to the head, and then you bring it down to the bottom of the neckline, and there's your price target all the way down to 11k. Okay, 11k, and ironically that's where resistance is, where we have support. So it evens out. So hopefully that makes sense, right? You just measure any head and shoulders pattern, you just measure the head from the shoulder, and then you bring it down to the neckline, and then you have a potential target to look out for. So if this neckline does break, which is 12k, we could see as low as 11k on the Nasdaq. All right, Just something to think about. But heading into tomorrow, I do think we're just going to consolidate. I think the market is really just going to wait for Wednesday to see what happens until these Fed members, FOMC members speak, and then we go from there. All right. That's pretty much it. Okay. I normally go over stocks, but I really want to see how tomorrow plays out. And I'm very curious on how this week is going to turn out. Okay. As of now, I am bullish. I do think we're going to see some upside before we see that huge crash that everyone is talking about. And the only reason I'm kind of fighting against the grain is because everyone is expecting a crash for September because it's one of the worst months. And normally when, a massive amount of people are all saying the same thing, the opposite tends to happen. Okay. But I'm completely okay with either direction. Okay, I'm completely okay with either direction. I can be completely wrong. I'm fine with being wrong because I am completely aware that September historically is the worst month. But I think we're going to be different this video. I showed you guys the potential. Hopefully it makes sense. Okay, hopefully it makes sense. Again, another gap fill up here in this range, and then we can just potentially see one of these moves, and then we break down. Okay, so hopefully you got something out this video. Sorry about that. Hopefully you got something out of this video. Hopefully it makes sense. Comment your thoughts below. Like, subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.